Hello there, my name is Ro Fernandez and I'm here today to show you how you can lead or facilitate a session asynchronously. So let's say you are working on a new initiative, a new project, a new strategy, doesn't matter if it's marketing or in the product side, but let's go here. And you want to gather information about the environment, you want to gather information about what your team and a few customers think about what's happening in the environment. But you want to do that asynchronously because some team members work in one time zone while some of the clients and some of the experts that you want to invite are working in another time zone. So to make it easier for everyone, you want to make sure that this session is facilitated asynchronously, but also you want to make sure they have enough time to think about their answers. One thing that happens when you have meetings and when you are leading a session is that people will provide the first idea or their first thought, but they don't really think through their ideas. And the second thing is that we're going to try to make sure that everyone participates and we hear everyone's thoughts in this session. So something that works incredibly good is adding a session that is the list format. So I'm gonna do that. So I add a session here. The session is now here. And I have the option of planning or choose a tool, as you know, in this case, because I'm gonna facilitate this session from scratch and I don't wanna use any of these tools, I'm just gonna pass. So what I'm gonna be doing is planning this session. As you know, this view is one of the alternative views, but you can of course use the list view. So let's go inside the session and plan the session. So for now, what we have here is the name of the session. This is visible to people invited as a guest. The start and due date, the same. As soon as you put a start and due date, people invited as guests will be able to see that. And they will also get notifications. So if, let's say today this session is about to end, they will get a notification, and so they have enough time and they prepare to ensure that they can participate. Anyway, so let's start. So in here, when I start planning this session, I have two options, the whiteboard and the list format. In this case, because we are not gonna be drawing and I wanna keep this session very, very simple for everyone, I'm gonna use the list. And don't worry, you can always change back to a whiteboard. So if that's what you end up needing, you just change here. So switch to a whiteboard format. It will ask you, are you sure? You just say yes, and you will have a whiteboard with all the steps. So I'm gonna go back, switch again. There you go. And we are here. So let's go through some of the settings here. So this is a collaborative session by default. If I don't want to have a collaborative session, I will change that by disabling this. By doing this, people will not see each other on the screen, and let me show you how that works in a second. So in here, what I have is the steps. In the steps, I basically is step by step how I will facilitate this session if I was there. So let's say the first step will be asking everyone how they are. I could do that. The second step will be making sure I ask the first question, then they will answer. So I will do that. So let's say, let's start step by step and plan this session as we move forward. So first, I want to leave this this session as collaborative because I want to make sure people can see each other's answers so they can change their answer and learn from each other. So I'm gonna just leave it like this. The next thing is I'm gonna add goals and instructions, and for me this is a way, an easy way to welcome everyone, to explain what are my expectations and how the session is gonna work. So I'm going to copy this. So I already have an example here. All right, so okay, so I will say, hi everyone. Hi everyone. Thank you for joining this session. And then I will provide information about this session, key things before they start. I will make sure they never forget about the due date, and I will give them maybe even an email so they can contact me if they don't have that. I will save this and I will start with the steps. Or maybe if this is done during a meeting, so let's say we are on a meeting and everyone is in this session and they can like choose between ideas, both participate, then I will add a video call or video call or a voice call. And of course, if you want to create groups, remember that you can have as many groups as you want. All right, so I don't want to do that because this is going to be done asynchronously. So I don't need one of those video calls. But what I want is to have all the steps here ready to go. All right. So the first step for me will be having asking the first question, and my first question will be, let me see. I'm gonna ask about some economic factors and I want to provide more information, so maybe I do this. So this is my first question, and what I want is for everyone to add their thoughts here. So I'm gonna choose the resource type of this one, notes, and then I'm gonna leave this open. So I want to make sure that people see each other's answers. So open for everyone. I'm gonna add the next step that I'm probably gonna ask a new questions. Maybe I make them vote an idea or choose between options. So which economic factor will be more likely to affect our company? I may even add a video of myself sharing the screen or a few ideas. So that is up to you. But in this case, what I want them is to choose between a few ideas. So So I will have these options, and here I have some of the settings. So let's say I want to add points, or I want to um, allow users to add additional choices, or I want everyone to have the option to choose more than one. So I can change this as I wish, and I will continue moving forward with this session. So maybe my next question is, I had a few examples in here. Social factors. I'm gonna ask them about trends and behaviors. And again, I'm gonna ask them to add their thoughts, to share their thoughts with the rest of the team and with everyone participating in this session. And I will continue adding the questions. So in here, as you see, this is very goal oriented. Like I ask the questions, is facilitated, and a key thing in here is that this space, as soon as I invite everyone is guided, and they know exactly what they need to be doing. The next thing is that this is a collaborative space, one of the collaborative spaces that I have used in my 10 years of experience that works. I have never seen so many people participating in a session. So what I see with this session is, first, they all feel comfortable with the space. Second, they all participate and they provide really insightful answers. So they think about it, they collaborate, they see other people's answers and they change their answers. And the third thing is that they participate. So I have tried in the last 10 years different formats and different platforms, and from Google Docs to whiteboards. And the problem was that or people didn't participate, or when one person participates, everyone else will not participate. But in here, they all have their own space. So I'm gonna share that with you. So if I invite a guest, I just share this link, and in here you're gonna see what's the experience, how people will experience this. So they will add this link to their browser, or they will just click on the link and they will add their name. They have access to the session, and you see that I'm right there, so they can see me if I'm there. And of course, I can read the goals and instructions, and I'm just gonna do this so you can compare. So as a guest, my screen is way more simple and it's pretty clean and pretty easy to use. So I don't see any of these things. I can no edit the session, of course. And the only thing I need to do is read your message, or even watch your video, whatever you add in these steps, and automatically I can participate. So this is my space, my own space. So like I know that everyone is waiting for me to answer, and as soon as someone else adds an answer, I will see that. So let's go back there. So let's say I add an answer. Everyone will be able to see my answer. I can change it, and so on. The next thing is I can vote, and I will see other people voting at the same time. And I can change my vote if I change my mind. Of course, because I will be able to see the due date here. we don't have a due date, but as I mentioned, as soon as I add a due date, everyone will see that due date and will get notified. So I know that if I don't have time today to go over all these questions, that will be okay, right? I know that I can always come back, and I have until January 27th. So that's super important for other collaborators, and of course, if I go back to the team view, the interesting thing in here is that when something is interesting, let's say I have a few answers for here and these are interesting, I can highlight them and this will go directly to the reports, but I can also add them to the conclusion. So let's say I want to add this in the conclusions because I don't want to copy and paste. I can add my conclusion and say, well, you know what, Anna mentioned this, and this is what's interesting because blah blah blah, and that will be added to the report. So that is all what I wanted to share. I want to make sure this is something that you keep in mind when you are creating or thinking about leading feedback sessions, sessions in which you are gathering information from different team members, from different users. I have used this space as a user interview and group interviews, and I done it asynchronously, but also in during meetings. So this space works for both cases. And for me, I would say that this is a space where I get amazing results. Like, I wish I could share some of the feedback and some of the answers, and normally people participate so much, like their answers are so insightful, and you see people participating and they are all really involved. The key thing here is that as those things happen and as everyone participates, you will see that this progress bar moving up. So as you are working, you know exactly if you are almost done and you have everyone's answers in there. And if you need more detail, you can of course open this, but is extremely insightful because I can make decisions and change the dates or provide additional time or reach out to someone that didn't make it on time. And I have this flexibility. So I would say that if you have never tried leading and facilitating a session or a feedback session or even an interviews a session, if you have never tried doing it asynchronously, I will recommend trying this. Is amazing. I honestly, this was one of my key pain points when I was working as a consultant, when I worked as a marketing manager. Getting feedback from my sales team was so painful. Getting them to participate in something was extremely hard. Since I use this tool, and I know I am biased, but it's been life changing. So I will totally recommend trying. All right, thank you for watching. See you soon.